There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
So we are totally deep into the jungle now when it comes to modifications and solutions for Jeeps. And today we've landed on a big one, AAMP Global. Now you're wondering why it's AAMP Global, because we're covering more than just one brand that AAMP Global has to offer under their umbrella. Of course, we're talking about Stinger, some EchoMaster product, a little bit of Phoenix Gold mixed into there, but we're covering it all with major announcements. You might have heard Jeff Smith when he was on earlier this week on CMA Live make mention of this. Well, this is the one. You don't want to go away. Take some notes out. This is CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM, all about AAMP Global in Jeep, and it starts now. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this CMA Showcase. I'm your host, Ben Wu. And when you see Showcase, you can be sure that there is some new product being announced right here on the show. Jeep is obviously a fast-growing segment. We know this already. But the folks over at AAMP Global have been hard at work, continuously engineering and designing and innovating new products. Some that are, for improvement. Some are for integration. And others, well, I don't even have a category for it. You're just going to have to stay tuned and find out all about that for yourselves. Of course, we can't talk about AAMP Global without their Director of Training and Events. I'd like to welcome to the studio, Mr. Jeff Smith. What's going on, Mr. Jeff? Or shall I say Jeffrey? Jeffrey?
Hey, man, it's another day, man. We were just here on Wednesday night.
You were, and you dropped some bombs that left everybody like, what's up?
Yeah, so here we are on Friday, our showcase to showcase you a few new things.
So, listen, Jeeps is something that I know you guys, we've covered this, right? We've come on a couple of times. We've talked about the stuff, the innovations with Hi10 and the integration with that through the pack integration systems. And, we know that, you took taking the time to walk us through your demo vehicle. So you've got me kind of curious as to what other things you could possibly bring into the mix. But before we talk about that, I want to interview with a couple of questions. I want to kind of set the stage. What puts AAMP into a unique position? Because, well, it's very unique because you have different brands within your umbrella of brands that can all add to figuring out things and making new things happen. So I'd like for you to talk to us about that a little bit.
That's exactly the secret sauce, Ben. That's AAMP's call to fame, is that since we have this umbrella company, right? So AAMP is just the parent company. And then we have PAC, we have Stinger, we have PG, we have EchoMaster, we have Audio Control now.
All
these other new, right? We have all these brands under our umbrella that we can mix and pull certain technologies from, pull the strong parts of and mix them all together and even create these bigger, better things that most companies wouldn't be able to think of because they only stay in one particular lane. So we like to be able to integrate audio, integrate safety, integrate retail features, commercial features, whatever the composition may be, that's one of the other things we talked about. We acquired Audio Control. We also acquired another company earlier last year called M2M Emotion, which is our GPS telematics side of our company. Not only can we do consumer products, but we can also do large format commercial products as well for telematics and GPS. So all of that mixed in together just makes AAMP an amazing partner for retailers to be in business with.
Very, 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 very interesting. Okay. The list is long today on new products. Can you give us a quick overview of the type of categories that we'll be covering today?
Well, today we're going to talk about some of the most popular, things that Jeepers like to do. We're going to talk about, of course, the infotainment upgrade. We're going to talk about some audio upgrades that are well needed to fit our category. And then we're going to talk about some safety upgrades. And the safety upgrades, because a lot of people go, safety is boring, but these particular safety upgrades are going to be really unique because they're going to give your Jeepers an easy way to express themselves and also to be able to share their experience when they're wheeling off-road as well.
And very interesting. Share their experience. We're going to find out all about that. But first, we're going to set the stage a little bit with a sizzle reel to set the mood while, Jeff, you get your presentation ready, and we'll roll the tape. And when we come back, we'll get the presentation going. Again, that pack integration with the high 10 is kind of a combo that is tough to beat and provides such a unique experience. But I'm not going to take the show away from you. Jeff, you got a presentation for us. We're going to knock it out. And obviously, when we come back, we're going to discuss. But you have the mic, sir.
All righty. So we're going to jump off into Jeeps and trucks. Like, I know primarily we're talking about Jeeps in this format, but there's a few features that we have, a few products that also rolls into the truck market as well. So Ben, the other day we were having that live Jeep event Wednesday night, and one of the guys from Raceport said something that was really interesting to me. And I already knew that, but it's just really good to have it reiterated to you that the Jeep Wrangler is the #1 most accessorized vehicle the last few years, according to SEMA data. So I said, you know what? I wonder how many Jeeps have been sold in the last few years. So I did a little bit of research and found these numbers, and it is mind-boggling to see exactly how many Jeeps have been sold between Canada and the US. So let's just call it North America. You look at the new Jeep platform, the JL, which was released in the end of 18 and really a 19 vehicle. You look at 240,032 units were sold in 2018, another 228,000 in 2019, 200,000 in 2020, another 204,000 in 2021, and we're already almost at 50,000 units so far for 2022. So that many Jeeps being sold, I would imagine that retailers see a Jeep at least once a week, if not, at the bare minimum. So for them not to be completely educated on Jeep products, how to work on a Jeep solutions for their customers, whether they want to integrate with keep a lot of OEM, or if they're going full out, completely custom build Jeeps. There's so many different ways for a retailer to make a lot of happy customers and make a lot of good money on the Jeep market themselves. So you showed this sizzle reel at the beginning on the SRK JW18EH. This is for our high 10. This is a vehicle-specific Radio Pro Advanced kit that marries two of the brands we talked about earlier. It marries our pack integration along with the infotainment head unit from Stinger, which was the high 10. When you combine these two, Ben, you get the most advanced integration piece you can have for a Jeep Wrangler platform. What this kit allows you to do, it's a complete plug and play kit at that. There's no wiring that has to be done in the vehicle. The Radio Pro harness is already pre-wired, plug and play into the actual Hi10, and gives you so many different feature capabilities. One of the most important features you get with the Hi10 is that we are the only manufacturer that has an actual HD resolution adapter that allows you to retain the factory HD camera. Now, because the Hi10 already comes with 4 camera inputs, you now have the additional factory camera, which now gives you 5 cameras. A lot of the Gladiator JTs also have a front camera. So that means you have 6 cameras, 2 from factory and the 4 additional cameras in the Hi10. So all of this packaged up with steering control integration, on-screen climate control integration, factory USB retention, being able to keep the factory satellite antenna, integrate everything that you can have from the vehicle and add so many additional features. One of the biggest things we do is that now that we have the pack link port, we have the ability to now put a bunch of the vehicle's data information on the screen of the Hi10. We've talked about this 8 million times, and this is what really sells the Hi10 to a lot of Jeep customers. Having the climate control, the vehicle status, whether the doors open or close, a check engine light, your TPMS information, drivetrain information when they're out wheeling off-road, so they know exactly how the differential and wheel angles are when they're out wheeling. Then, of course, off-road menus, the pitch and roll menus, and your compass to let you know exactly how far you're going through a ditch or up a hill or whatever else you'd like to know before you roll over and have a catastrophic event. Then, of course, all the vehicle gauges. You have engine temp, oil temp, your intake air pressure, everything you could think of. And these are customizable gauges. You have 2 different screens, and you can have up to 8 gauges custom preset. There's multiple gauges you can add so that they don't overlap. So you can have 16 independent different gauges. And of course, your performance screen. Jeep has always been synonymous for high performance vehicles. So we want to make sure that you keep all of that available to your customer on that 10-inch high-res Hi10 screen. So, and because we're talking about Jeeps, we do have other integrated kits that give you similar information like the Jeep available. We have it now available in Dodge Ram, Chevy Silverado. We have the brand new Charger Challenger 300 kit that does the same. So we have so many different kits out there that allow the Hi10 to integrate into vehicles this way. So now that we know the Hi10 is the key to an infotainment upgrade, let's talk about audio upgrades. One of the biggest things that hurts a lot or Jeepers don't like is the factory audio system, because the front and rear speakers are a combination of 4-inch tune-ported enclosures, which don't really lead to a lot of high-performance audio capabilities. But what we've done so far is we've come up with this new system called the Stx Jl Pod that will be released pretty soon. It's a 2-piece system, unlike most of our other competitors. Our piece comes with a lower dash pod that holds a 6.5 or 6 3/4 inch mid-bass driver in the dash for those lower frequencies. But in order to make your installation that much easier, we also include the top bracket that allows you to insert in a tweeter or a small coaxial mid-range or wideband driver into the dash of this Jeep in order to raise the sound stage and give you more audio that the customer would like. So we include an upper and lower speaker pod adapter for the Jeep JL instead of just your standard lower piece that goes in the bottom of the dash. Now, here's a big one. Rear speakers or the sound bar. Now, the factory sound bar comes with a 3.5-inch coaxial and a 4-inch sealed tune, a 4-inch tune ported for lower mid-bass frequencies, but it's only a 4-inch driver in the sound bar above your head. And that really doesn't lend you to a lot of audio capability. So what we have to do is modify these, and Jeepers have been doing this and installers have been doing this. You cut out this big, huge piece of plastic in order to now have to go back in and mold back in a piece of ABS or MDF or whatever they're trying to do in order to try to cram in a 6.5 or 5 1/4 or whatever else you'd like to do. And this is very time consuming, because dealers, if they've worked on Jeeps, they know the amount of labor it takes in order to put better speakers into the soundbar in the back. So what we've done is we're working on releasing this new kit, the Stx Jl SBA soundbar audio. And what we do is we take a look at the OEM plastics and we figure out a way to now put in a 6.5 or a 6x9. And with the 6.5-inch plate that comes in this kit, then we actually give you pre-cut for the 6.5, but you can also see we give it pre-scored for a tweeter. And within that tweeter location, you just drill it out, hole saw, put whatever size tweeter or mid-range you'd like to put in there, or 3.5-inch coax or whatever you'd like to do, wideband. So now you have the ability to now put those drivers in that same factory location. What we've also done is we've also included a 6x9 adapter to go into this as well. So now you can put in your favorite 2-way or 3-way 6x9. But one of the downfalls to using a 6x9 in the overhead systems is the factory grill, because the factory grill is pre-molded, and you can see how it would block a huge percentage of the output of that 6x9. So what we have here is we've taken a look at this and said, how can we make this even better for the 6.5 or 6x9 to work within this particular application? Well, we've created our own grill system, and the grill has the same grill pattern as the OEM grill, but now we've opened it up so that you can put in that component set or a 6x9. This particular unit has been completely molded to look like factory, to bolt into all of the factory locations. And you can see we've also raised the height of this grill so that when you add that 6x9 with a 2-way or 3-way bridge, you now have the clearance for that 6x9 to fit in your sound bar without any hindrance for that driver. So now you can get a lot of output from your rear speakers in your sound bar with ease. And when you mount the soundbar grill back up to the top, you can see exactly how factory it looks. So, I mean, this looks as if, Jeep did it themselves. And this is one of the things that we have the ability to do, being that we have the plastic side of our company where we can actually make this in-house and 3D print it, mold it in to make sure it looks the way it needs to fit and have complete 100% OEM look, fit, and finish before we put it into production. So this is going to be a big win for not only front speaker upgrades, also rear speaker upgrades. One of the things we've previously spoken about for audio upgrades is the rear enclosure, the Stx Jl B12. This is our rear swing gate 12-inch sealed enclosure that mounts on the back door of the Jeep. Now, we've shown this multiple times on the channel before, Ben, but this is a 12-inch sealed enclosure that really puts out a lot of bass in the Jeep application. Now, what's really unique about this enclosure is that it works in all the different models. It works from JK all the way up to JL, 2-door or 4-door. There's no limitation. 400 watts RMS on this driver, a ton of output. This enclosure is definitely weatherproof and rugged for off-road and Jeep atmospheres that customers will put their Jeep through. The grill is a stamped steel 14-gauge grill that allows you to beat up on it so that you can put stuff in the back of your Jeep. You're not going to hurt it. The enclosure itself is what we call our roadkill armor coat. So this means it can get wet, it can get beat on, it can get scratched, and you're not going to hurt this. This is a way we actually put multiple layers of MDF or birch together in order to make a solid enclosure, and then put sound dampening layers between those wood layers in order to reduce the resonance inside of the enclosure. And then we take that entire enclosure and then coat it with the roadkill armor coat in order to make it that much more sturdy and more resistant to any of the dust, dirt, water, debris that you may put it into during the off-road Jeep environment. UV protection, speaker grill protection, I mean, anything and everything you could imagine from a very high performance subwoofer application. Compared to some of the other ones out there, this one's specifically made for the Jeep to bolt to that rear door. Then, of course, this is a new product that we showcased earlier this year in Vegas. This is going to be our underseat amp racks for the Jeep products. Now, these amp racks are only available for the unlimited versions or 4-door Jeep applications, because the 2-door, the underflooring under the 2-door Jeeps is a little different, and you don't have the amount of clearance you need. So these amp racks are going to be available for the JLU or the JKU, so 4-door unlimited. So these amp brackets are available in driver side and passenger side. That is a difference between the D and the P at the end of the part number. So JKU, these are JK under amp brackets for driver, for passenger, JLU for the JL Unlimited and JT for the driver and passenger as well. Now, these brackets will be pre-tapped for a lot of our popular amplifiers from our different family of amplifiers. So this one you'll have holes pre-tapped for our Stinger amplifiers, holes pre-tapped for our audio control off their ACX series of amplifiers, multiple different applications. But that doesn't mean that you can't put whatever brand of amplifier you want on this. You simply would drill it, tap it, and then secure the amplifier to that. A really neat thing about these amp racks is that they're 14 gauge steel, they're powder coated, they will bolt to all the factory bolts, so you're not having to drill any additional bolts into the vehicle whatsoever. Very sturdy, very unique mounting, so that now you have a great place for your amplifiers to be mounted in your Jeep vehicle. Since we've done that, we're already that much further down the road. Why not, of course, create Jeep-specific amp kits? These amp kits will hold 4 gauge or 8 gauge wire in order for you to run a single amplifier or dual amplifiers, because depending upon the amp racks that you purchase, 1 amp or 2 amp, that would depend upon the amount of wire you need in that particular kit. So this 22 gauge fuse mount comes in the kit and mounts under the hood through a factory bolt. So just like the amp racks, you haven't drilled a hole in the vehicle for any reason. Now you have the XF DB108 fuse holders from Stinger X. You can mount 1 or 2 of those on the actual bracket itself and not have to worry about any additional holes being drilled in the vehicle. Then the 4 gauge wire is already pre-tech flex, comes with ferrules, it's cut to length. The ground loop terminals are already built to connect to the factory ground lugs under the seat. It's a perfect marriage between the amp racks and the Jeep speaker system. So now that you have the way to actually bring in these amp kits, bring in the amp racks, you have so many different amplifiers to choose from. Now you have a complete solution from our family of products here at AAMP Global in order to make your Jeep customers that much happier. Now, since we're talking about the Jeep sub box, let's also talk about the truck version. There's a universal underseat truck box that's a 10-inch driver down firing, similar design as far as the box, as far as it being completely coated with a very rugged material. But a really unique feature of the Jeep of the truck enclosure versus the Jeep is that it's a 10-inch seal, but instead of you having to increase the output by adding a second woofer, you can now just add on the TX RB10BB or Basebox Extension that now takes that 10-inch subwoofer enclosure from a sealed enclosure now to a vented enclosure. And by doing that, you're adding another almost half cubic foot of airspace, but you're also now tune porting this guy and adding about 6 dB of extra output when you go from sealed to vented. And we even have videos online that actually show us using the audio control SPL meter to show you the difference from the 10-inch to the 12-inch version. So it's a really good upgrade, really easy, fits in any trucks. They're built to be down firing. You can put them in any particular orientation to fit many universal truck applications as well. So now that we've talked about audio, let's talk about one last one that's coming soon. Let's talk about the TXFBB12 for the Ford Bronco. The Bronco is going to be a very popular vehicle coming up here really fast, Ben. So we've already jumped out. We're going to be making amp racks for the Bronco. We're going to be making amplifier kits for the Bronco. We're going to have this rear swing gate 12-inch enclosure that's different from the Jeep. Same woofer, but it's going to be a reduced size enclosure because of the topology and the way the Bronco rear door is built. So that enclosure is going to be coming really soon and be available for our dealers as well. So let's talk safety for a quick second. Now that we know that, of course, AMP, we have our audio brands, we're going to now incorporate a lot of our EchoMaster safety brands into the Jeep application. One of the most important things that we want to talk about is Jeepers like to take their doors off the Jeep. And when you take the doors off the Jeep, you now have lost your side mirror. And now that you can't see what's going on in your blind spots around you, we've created this kit called the Biscuit Kit or Blind Spot Kit for the JL and the JT. And what we've done is we've actually taken our PCAM BS1 camera from EchoMaster. That is a 70-degree fisheye style camera for blind spots. That was something we actually engineered from one of the OEM manufacturers. And we now take that and then blend it with a mount, a 22 gauge steel mount that's been powder coated to bolt to a factory bolt in the door without you having to drill anything, and now hold that camera in a really nice spot with the factory bolt, hiding the wires up through the fender back into the dash compartment. And you can have this it comes in pairs of cameras, one for left and one for right blind spot, and you can run these back inside into your high 10, into whatever other brand of radio you have. It doesn't have to be connected into a high 10. You can use one of our universal video switchers, the AVS21 for 2 camera inputs, or you can use our VS41 to have up to 4 cameras into any universal monitor or any aftermarket doubled in radio that you can put into the very shallow dash of a Jeep. So that's a very unique product as well. And I think we can, give me a second, I think we can actually look at what that looks like in real life on our Jeep, but let's talk about a few other products as well. One of the other really unique products, Ben, that I really want to talk to everybody about is this brand new product called the EM UB Cam Kit. So EM Echo Master UB Underbody Camera Kit. This is a universal underbody 4-camera kit with a built-in DVR. Now, what this is going to allow you to do is be able to see in any format, whether it's on the Jeep, a truck, a car, any type of application. There is no limitation to this particular kit. You can mount the 4 cameras under your vehicle, whether you want to mount them front and rear, left and right, or however you'd like to do it, so that you can see the obstacles under your vehicle. We're going to primarily focus on Jeep right now because this is where we're pushing this kit to this market first and foremost. 4 cameras that are AHD, Ben, AHD 720p camera resolution, 170-degree viewing angles. So you're going to have a wide range of view to see the rocks before you climb over rocks, before you're going down, into a ravine or climbing through a lake bed or whatever you're going to do with your Jeep. You have the ability to see all of this before you go too far or too high or wherever you need to go within that Jeep. And being that it has a DVR function built into it, you can now add up to 128 gig SD card, class 10, a high-speed SD card, in order to keep all that footage and now share it with your friends and online or wherever else you'd like to do that. This kit comes with the 4 cameras. It comes with the adapter in order for you to use this in a universal standpoint. You can run it into a high 10, run it into one of our universal AHD monitors, or run it into any aftermarket radio. This kit is an AHD kit, so you have the ability to send out an AHD signal to a high-res screen that has AHD capability, or you can switch it to a regular CVBS standard resolution switching system as well. It comes with a wireless remote control. It comes with the standard on-off switch. It also comes with a multi-position switch, so you can flip through up to 15 different views on this camera system itself. Ben, do you have a minute? We can actually probably go over to our Jeep and take a look and see exactly what this camera kit does for you. Let me grab my other camera here and see if we can make this happen.
Hey, Jeff, you've got me all hot and bothered right now. Are you saying that you're about to take us to a vehicle? Is that what you're trying to do right now? Okay, I think you're trying to separate. Let's see what I think what he's trying to do here, guys. Yeah, he's gonna bring us over to the vehicle to see how this works. All right, let's see this happen here. Hold on a second here. So I see Jeff. Let's see if we get his mic on so we can hear what he's talking about here. Jeff, are you on mute on your mic? No? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I got you, buddy. All right. Thanks. Oh, okay. You have a Jeep right there.
Yeah, I have our show Jeep right here in our studio.
Okay.
So what we have here is your BSC kit, Ben. This is your PCAM BS1 universal blind spot camera. And what we've done is we've actually added it with that bracket to the Jeep JL here, and it mounts with a single factory bolt to that bracket, right? So this bracket is a steel bracket that's been powder coated and everything so that it looks really nice and neat. And then the wiring goes back up into the fender, into the back inside to the Jeep itself. And when you take your door off, you see the way it contours around the actual fender of the Jeep itself so that it doesn't interfere with the door opening and closing or coming off of the Jeep whatsoever. And each one of these kits, it comes with the left and right camera, and it's available in 2 different formats for the JL and also for the JK. And the difference is going to be the bracket itself. The camera and the wiring and everything is all the same, but the bracket is what's going to be different.
So make sure you order specifically the kit for the vehicle, because the brackets are different, and not both brackets are in the kit. You have to order the one for the right vehicle.
Correct.
Gotcha.
You order brackets for the body style Jeep that you order for. So 2 for left and right, but not 4 for JK and JL.
Can we go back to what that looks like with the door closed? It looks really slick and pretty. I mean, you wouldn't even really notice it. I mean, you do, but not really.
Yeah, but when you close that door, it is completely, seamless down the actual body lines of the vehicle itself.
Right, and it doesn't impede the door functionality whatsoever.
No, not at all. Completely swings open. Between the amount of Jeepers we have at our office, every time we create a new product for something, it seems like all of our employees go out and buy these different vehicles. I bet you we have 6 to 8 Jeeps here in our Florida office and probably 3 or 4 out in our California office.
Wow. Okay.
So let's take a seat. Let's take a look on the screen and see exactly what this looks like here as well.
A high 10 installed, no less.
Of course, and a few of our rubber ducks. You can't go anywhere without getting ducked. Deep event.
Hold on a second, Jeff. What's that on top between the rubber ducks?
This little guy right here?
Yes. What is that?
We're going to talk about that in our ADAS showcase later on in the year.
Sneaky.
That's another product we'll talk about later on.
Okay. All right.
So let's go into our camera system here, and we're going to look at the left camera. That's our left blind spot camera from the BSC kit. So it's going to give you that 70-degree viewing angle that's going to be right down the side of your vehicle in order to make sure there's nothing in your blind spot before you go changing into the other lane. Same thing with the right side of the Jeep itself, Ben. You'll be able to see right down. You can see my extension cords and camera brackets back there on the floor. So that way that blind spot on the right side of your Jeep is completely visible on the 10-inch screen of the high 10.
Help me understand this though, Jeff. So these blind spot cameras work in conjunction with your signal clickers?
Correct. So if I was actually out driving the vehicle right now through the pack integration, we have the camera triggers that are triggered through data in the actual Jeep itself. So it will see that you're turning on your left turn signal and your right turn signal, and it will automatically bring those cameras up. Through the integration of the actual high 10 through that pack kit, you also have the ability to tell it what cameras you have. And there's another screen we could go into, Ben, that actually allows you to set the cameras to be triggered via your steering angle. So depending upon how far you're actually turning your steering, you can actually have these cameras being brought up as well.
So and both ways, though? Is that what you're saying? Both through the signal
ways.
And through steering angle? Okay.
100%. Or you can manually, like I'm doing now, since I'm not running the Jeep in the building, I can manually go to the camera screen and instantly select any of the cameras that are available. Now, here's another one I don't think we've talked about, Ben. If I'm actually looking at a camera, I can still go into this menu here and overlay my off-road information as I'm looking at any of these cameras at any point in time. So if I want to see my steering angle, if I want to see my altitude, my coordinates, whether the pitch and roll of the vehicle is, I can see that real time along with my cameras at any point in time.
Any camera input.
Any camera input the off-road information can be overlaid on top of it.
Okay. Well, really then I hope you have that new undercar camera installed to show me that.
The AAMP cam kit, we do have that guy right here in front of us. This is your wireless remote control that comes with it. But since the high 10 has those 4 camera inputs, Ben, and we do have all 4 cameras on our Jeep, we have the front camera. Now you're going to see where I set up my camera supply in my office here. Then you're going to see the factory HD camera input. Look how much cleaner that OEM camera is versus the other guys, right? So now that we know that we have that retention through the high 10 as a standard feature, now we've turned on the aux camera, which was our original OEM rear camera that would have, I'm sorry, not the OEM rear camera, our rear camera input from the high 10. We called it aux. Now we're going to go over to it, and now we can see the 4 cameras from the EMUB cam kit, right? So not only do we have 2 cameras installed left and right, we have cameras installed front and rear. So now we can really see these obstacles before we climb over them. What we have here on this particular camera, you know what? Instead of doing that, I'm going to use the factory aux switches down here. We've tied those in. Most of the Jeep JLs have these aux switches, and we've used those to actually trigger our cameras. So when I push camera 1, it's going to pull camera 1 up on the screen itself. So now you can see this little fake rock we use here. It shows like we're going to see that obstacle before we climb over that with that one camera facing the back of our Jeep from underneath the Jeep itself, Ben.
Okay, then wait, stop. Overlay that other information now. Can you do that here?
Come here, off-road.
Oh, see, there it is. That there is the ultimate screen for any off-roader.
Yep, there you go.
There.
So you can turn that, like I said, off and on at any point in time. So we're going to turn off camera 1, and we're going to go to camera 2. Now, camera 2 is going to be facing forward from the back of the Jeep. So now we can see from the back axle all the way forward anything we want to see under the Jeep itself. So whether there's rocks or water or tree stumps or whatever you want to see under the Jeep itself as you're off-road wheeling, you now have that capability. We're going to turn off camera 2. Now we're going to look at camera 3. It's going to be a tight suspension shot the way we have this one mounted, so we can see our suspension being pushed to the max before we climb up and over this particular rock we have placed there at any point in time. So we'll turn off camera 3, and we'll go to camera 4. Bam, there we go to the other side. So you can now see, and you can place these cameras anywhere you want, Ben. This is just a place we set them up to use as a demo when we're out at shows. Like last week, we were just at Jeep Beach. This was a total hit for customers who were the first to see this actual camera system up and working at a live consumer event. And it was a massive amount of buzz around this kit being shown at that show.
Okay, first of all, you using those factory auxiliary buttons is super cool. How did you hook that up?
Well, in the actual kick panel of the vehicle from Jeep, they give you 6 wires. There's a constant power feed, there's a switch power feed, and then there's the 4 auxiliary switch outputs. Aux 1 and 2 are higher current, like 40 amp circuits, and aux 3 and 4 are like 15 amp circuits. So you can actually use those to trigger different things in the vehicle itself. So between using these guys and using everything within the high 10, we have the ability to do so many different things. But right now, Ben, you see how we have a 4 camera image matrix screen, right? Mm-hmm. So what you don't see down here is there's a little push button that multiplexes this system to allow you to choose between 15 viewing angles. So now I have camera 2 and camera 3. I can see the left side of my suspension along with the underbody from the rear forward. I can see both suspension screens at the same time.
Gotcha.
I can now see the exact opposite right side with the rear. All 4 cameras in different formats. So I'm looking at front and rear and each left and right suspension. Now, mind you, this is a universal kit, Ben. So this can be placed in any vehicle, not just a Jeep. So that's what makes it really, really universal and unique, that we can now provide all this information video-wise, and you can even record it, like we talked about with the DVR function built inside of it, and share that information with your Jeep Club buddies on YouTube channels, Instagram, Facebook.
So hold on, you said DVR. So what? I could put an SD card and record all of this?
100%. Let me take you back to the wireless remote here. I'm going to see if I can hit this menu button and do this the right way. Now you have the ability to go in here. You can adjust your loop time, what style your video playback is going to be, HD resolution or standard resolution, delay, language, of course, what type of camera input you're using, what type of camera output you're using, if you're going to go standard resolution out, or if you're going to go HD out, camera adjustment, light frequency formatting your SD card. I mean, anything and everything you could imagine you would want to be able to trick this particular system out and program it the way that you want can be done through the wireless remote, or you can use this little multi-function button here in the console and be able to pull up all of those different viewing angles right here as well. So what's really unique about this, Ben, is, like I keep saying this, you do not have to use this with a high 10. don't get me wrong, using the high 10 is the absolute best way to integrate all this into one spot so you're not doing multiple things all over your dash. But let's say you have a universal monitor, you kept your factory radio, and you have, or a different brand of aftermarket radio. You can totally use this system in any vehicle with the standalone screen from EchoMaster or any other company, or you can use it with any aftermarket radio. It can be AHD video out or regular CVBS standard resolution camera.
As long as you have an auxiliary video input, basically.
As long as you have a camera input, period. And we sell it. We actually include the AVS-21 video switcher. So if you already have a backup camera on the vehicle, now the AVS-21 is going to allow you to switch between two inputs: factory backup camera, or not factory, but backup camera, and then this particular cam kit system. So we want to make sure you have that ability to do that as well. Really quickly, Ben, don't forget about the Mrc Hd Dvr camera for Jeeps as well. This is our DVR camera that replaces the OEM camera, factory Jeep bracket that has a HD camera for front and rear. This is a front camera with DVR built into it, into the mirror, and also a rear camera. Then they both record directly to the Mrc Hd Dvr. And you have a different way of having a DVR cam system to record your off-road wheeling and things like that as well. So,
and if I'm not mistaken, that kind of doubles as a dash cam, right?
100%. So you do have a full dash cam view directly out of the vehicle. And what's really neat is you can actually go in and view your files that you've used previously. You have your front files, you have your rear files. You know, you can take photos. Whenever there's a shock sensor built inside of it, will protect these videos as well. So you see the little lock symbol. So it can store any of these files and keep them whenever you need to go back and look at these at any point in time as well.
And of course, SD card and save it on there. And
SD card is built into this guy, whereas with the UB cam kit, you have to add an SD card. Where the Mrc Hd Dvr, it comes with a 64 gig SD card built inside of it itself.
Whew! My head is dizzy. That's a lot.
Pretty
of new
unique,
stuff.
right?
That's some pretty unique stuff. Jeff, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you a quick break. We got a video that we can play all about that subsystem that you showed earlier. And when you come back, I got a couple of questions for you. How about that?
All right, do that, and I'll go back.
Right. So it's good. Let's roll the tape.
Introducing the Stinger-loaded subwoofer enclosure for Jeeps. This enclosure was specifically designed to fit on the tailgate of all JK and JL models. With 400 watts of continuous power handling and 800 watts peak, this 12-inch weatherproof subwoofer adds tons of bass without taking up much space. This powerful subwoofer can produce significantly more bass than the factory system. With increased impact, accuracy, and low-end extension, you'll hear and feel the chest-pounding bass throughout the entire Jeep, even with the top off. And pair it with the Phoenix Gold MX800.1 amplifier or any other compatible amplifier to bring out the subwoofer's full potential. The subwoofer enclosure is protected by roadkill armor coating, making it capable of withstanding the most extreme conditions, and features a powder-coated steel grille to protect the subwoofer. Take your Jeep JK or JL's audio system to the next level with the Stinger-loaded subwoofer enclosure for Jeeps.
All right, Jeff. So just to review, we have the new speaker pods for the front. We have the new rear speaker pods that you can now put 5 1/4, 6.5 coaxial component
6x9.
Both plates come with the kit. Show that again. I just want to see both different kits. So basically, those are both in the kit, correct?
Yep, both in the kit, along with the grill, to allow you to put any of these guys together. So whether it be the 6.5-inch kit, 6.5-inch coax, or 6.5 component kit, or the 6x9 in that.
I mean, this is, for me, Jeff, this is a must-have as a shop. You know, you want to upgrade your customers' speakers easy. That's about as easy as it gets. Now, my question for you about those, though, do they come complete with the wire adapter to plug into the factory plugs?
Yes. So you will have the wire adapter, the speaker connector, so that not only do you have the slip-on terminals for your your aftermarket speaker. You'll be able to plug into your factory wiring with the front pods and the rear pods.
All right. I see the graphics came up, and I should mention, of course, if you're in Canada, you want to get a hold of either Gentech International or Automob. They are the distributors for AAMP Global products in Canada. And for more information on AAMP Global, which will direct you to, all the different sites, you can start off at ampglobal.com. Okay, more questions for you. When it comes to the amplifier kits and the fuse block adapter, what grade of wire is that? There's so many different levels. I just want to know as far as the kits
Then
go.
we're only going to put our best foot forward. So this is going to be our Stinger 100% OFC copper wire. This is going to be our, I think people call it our Pro or HPM series wire. This is not the Select series CCA stuff, because in the Jeep environment, we want to make sure you got 100% best performance possible. So 4 gauge and 8 gauge power and ground in these kits, complete front to rear solutions with the full copper OFC wire.
And you mentioned the ferrules and the heat shrink and all that's already done.
Tech Flex, zip ties,
what
everything.
About the length?
The length of the wire is cut specifically to go under the seat of the Jeep, to the passenger side or to the driver's side. Completely done.
You're saying if I'm going to put in an amp or two, let's call it 1 amp. Let's say I start with 1 amp. I can order the amp and use universal, right? As long as it physically fits under the seat. First of all, let's maintain
Correct.
within those parameters. Get the amp rack from Stinger.
Yep.
Get the amp kit. Get the fuse, and literally, it goes exactly where it's supposed to go. Even for the amp racks, it's factory mounting holes, right?
Factory mounting holes. So you don't have to do any drilling into the vehicle or anything else to damage the vehicle itself. Ben, you can literally do, and I think we kind of talked about this, our other show Jeep on the West Coast, it has all of these upgrades in it, and it looks very stock. It looks like grandma's Jeep, right? There's no wrap on it, no aftermarket wheels or anything else. And there were no holes drilled in that entire Jeep. To add a front camera, left and right blind spot cameras, the DVR dash cam we talked about, to add the underseat amp racks, to add the dash pods for the front component, 6.5-inch component set, to add rear 6x9s, to add the subwoofer enclosure in the back of the vehicle. All of this bolt into the vehicle itself.
Even the pods. I forgot to ask you about that.
Even the pods. Yeah, everything bolts back into stock locations. I mean, the only thing that's not a true stock location is probably the rear swing gate door for the subwoofer enclosure. But I mean, we wanted to make sure that we give the Jeep market. Ben, did you see those numbers? Do you see how many Jeeps are sold?
Crazy.
In North America, right, in the last couple of years. So if dealers are not honing in on that market, right, Jeeps are the mini trucks of our day, right? Right. So 100%. There's 8 million accessories for Jeeps. And just like our live the other night, whether it's lighting, so many different audio upgrades, body upgrade. I mean, we don't even get into all the body upgrades that are out there that dealers do for customers.
And we didn't even talk about Stinger lighting for Jeeps.
There's not even time for lighting,
right. But there's lighting as well. Yes.
There's rock lights, there's interior, there's the whips, there's everything, there's so many different capabilities for Jeeps to be upgraded for our dealers. We just really want them to have a place where they can come to a manufacturer like AMP that has an umbrella of products in order to give them lighting, infotainment, audio upgrades, safety upgrades, visibility upgrades, and have a excellent partner, great warranties, great products, and have a website that give you all the information to be able to help you sell it, videos, anything that you need in order to create your own website to showcase different products, just like the 2 videos you've shown in the video here. These are available to our dealers through our YouTube page. They can download these. We have in-store displays for the Jeep Jl kit, whether it be a full floor standing one or a countertop or one to hang on the slat wall. We just want to be the best partner we can to our customers and provide them with high technology products for Jeep market and all the other vehicles as well.
Well said. Not to mention they got a pretty slick trainer too.
He's all right. He owes me $20, but he's all right.
Yeah, there you go. 2 small technical questions I just wanted clarity on. You did take a second to mention the under seat universal solution for subwoofer with the extension to make it ported. Is that, just for clarity, was that enclosure only, or did that include a driver?
That includes a 10-inch driver, just like the 12-inch that's in the Jeep kit. That universal truck enclosure sealed out of the box. But if a customer wants even more output, they can add either a second sealed or they can add the vented side of it and gain an extra 6 dB of output.
And my last question for you, the blind spot mirror replacement with the camera, that kit was for which platforms? Was there only 2 or did I hear 3?
For the blind spot on the Jeep?
Yes.
There's two kits. There is the kit for the JK,
yep.
and the kit for the JL. And the JL works JL and JT.
So it's all 3. That's what I thought. Okay, because
Yeah.
I didn't hear you say JT. So basically all the Jeeps, you can make that kit work. There's a bracket for it and it fits.
Exactly.
I'm done. There's nothing else to talk about, buddy. We covered it all. New speaker pods, new amp racks, new wiring kits, subwoofer coming out for Bronco. I've seen that. That was a cool thing.
Bronco's going to be a whole show.
I have a feeling we're going to have another show just about Bronco.
Whole show about Bronco.
Yep, no doubt about it. And of course, that new underbody kit camera, 4-cam system, super slick. Definitely want to give you the guys who developed that a big shout out. And I like how you snuck it in there. But yeah, there's a lot of audio control business going on over at AMP. I've seen that. And I think we're going to be talking about that.
You're going to see so many new products, man. When we blend all these companies together, you're going to see lots of exciting new products, man.
I'm done. Jeff, you can go. I'm done with you.
All right. Great to see you guys.
Thank you so much, man. Great to see you.
See you next time.
There you have it, guys. That was Jeff Smith, the Director of Training and Events over at AMP Global, dropping some new product knowledge right here on CMA Showcase. Exciting stuff for shops that are into Jeeps, who want to get into Jeeps, and even more exciting for the Jeep owner themselves. Okay. You got to keep on tuning to CMA Networks. We are deep into Jeep. We're not done yet. We're still in the Jeep sessions. I want to remind you to keep tuning in until Monday, May 9th for the Jeep sessions. All the premier brands, as you see in the image right there, all about Jeep until May 10th. Then I want to remind you to check out our CMAnetworks.com website. If you haven't already, go check it out. Hundreds of videos to learn from, whether you can search them through brand, through category, or even by trainer. Make sure you hit up Jeff Smith, my boy. He's got a profile on there. And yeah, we've done a couple videos together. You might find that once you search for him there. That's it. Great CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM. Covered a ton of new product from AMP Global. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
I mean, yeah, it's time about
Stop it.
Today we're gonna go
Yo,
topics.
roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?